out there on the interwebs. So nice to see you all and spend some time with you this afternoon. My name is Gabrielle Stravelli. I'm a jazz vocalist and songwriter based in New York City. Of course, I want to thank Gail Boyd for organizing this and having me on this afternoon, and Scott Thompson, PR, who coordinated with Gail to make this happen. So thank you, Gail and Scott. Gail, I think I was on here like during the lockdown days. So how nice to join you again in brighter times. And actually, it's been rainy here in New York. The sun is out today, so it's a good day, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to tell you guys a bit about myself, my story, how I came to jazz, and I'm going to share info with you about this new CD that I have coming out. May 3rd is the official release date. It's called, sorry, everything's backwards and I'm doing a bad job. It's called Beautiful Moons Ago. And it will be available on all streaming platforms as of May 3rd. We're going to do pre-release. Pre-release is 1 week ahead. I believe that's Monday, April 29th. You'll be able to pre-save and get one track, actually like a little track as a gift for saving for doing it in advance, but officially a whole album will be available to you on May 3rd. And we're going to celebrate, if you are in the Northeast, we're celebrating the release with a concert at Birdland on Monday, May 6th. That's 7 p.m. upstairs in the big room. And then we'll be at Sculla's in Boston on Saturday, May 11th. That's my first time at Sculla's. I'm so thrilled and excited to share the album with folks up there. And I think that's a 7:30 show, if I remember correctly, but it's on the website and it's on all of my social media stuff. So hello, Facebook users. Thank you for saying hello. So I'm actually gonna start. Gail had sent some really nice prompt questions just to give you a little bit of background on me. Who was the first jazz musician you remember hearing? I will say, and I think this is kind of important to the music I make now, is that Ella was the voice I heard most in the house growing up. My parents both loved Ella Fitzgerald, and I knew those songbook recordings by heart. And I can even remember, I grew up playing piano and French horn, so I was sort of a... But I always sang, but I was a nerdy musician type from a very early age. And like I have vivid memories of not only listening and singing along with Ella, but like I remember singing along to the Lionel Hampton solo on her recording of Midnight Sun. And when you're a kid, you have no concept that you are like learning the language of jazz music when you do that. But that's what I was doing. And yeah, I just adore her. I know she's like a favorite and a go-to for so many people, but there's a good reason for that. She was the voice that I heard the most growing up. And then I will say in my 20s, somebody gave me a Carmen McRae album. And it is to this day one of my Desert Island albums. It's a live recording, but it's just called Carmen McRae, The Great American Songbook. I'm looking over there. I have it on vinyl because I needed to own that record in every format. And I had not heard Carmen growing up. So, oh my God, it just like that really blew my mind. So Carmen is also a favorite and someone who is such a go-to for me, especially in terms of phrasing. These women are geniuses. So I both count them as influences. I think that the first album I bought with my own money was Kind of Blue. I'm like, I know it's an obvious choice, but I think that that album is a gateway for many people into jazz. I also remember loaning it to a friend and they still haven't given it back to me. I won't name names. I know who you are and I know you still have that album. I also will say I remember I have a couple of vivid like firsts and things that really that are touchstones for me in terms of getting into jazz. I can remember hearing a very beautiful recording of Betty Carter on WBGO. I was driving driving in my car, and she was singing this beautiful ballad called Make It Last. And it wasn't a voice that was familiar to me. And this was a long time ago, pre the days when like you could go home and just check the playlist on your computer. So I called the station and asked who the artist was and what that song was. So I remember that. And I also very vividly remember the first time I heard Oliver Nelson. Just loved his sound so much and his tunes. So those are all people who made a big influence on me. So for current projects, I'm so excited to be really getting started on publicizing this new record that's coming out soon. Because, and I see you, Scott Thompson, in the comments there. Hi. This album was also something that came out of the pandemic in a funny and unexpected way. So the album features, it's a trio, myself with pianist Michael Kanan and bassist Pat O'Leary. We'd been working together for, over 10 years, maybe more than 12, even when the pandemic hit. And somehow we played together once lockdown was over, and it was like we were seeing each other again with masks and all of that, but at least seeing each other. We were really eager to start making music again. So we started out by going to, Michael has a studio where he has sessions and, in Brooklyn. So Pat O'Leary, P.S. is also my husband. That's why when I say we, I'm generally speaking of myself and Pat. So we would go out to Brooklyn and just, have sessions, work on tunes, make music together, because that was such a lifeline for us. And some of those, we actually recorded a lot of those. If you look on my YouTube channel, and I'm just Gabrielle Stravelli Music on YouTube, I'm easy to find. You'll see, I think I left a lot of those videos up. We recorded ourselves, filming a lot of those sessions during the pandemic. So you will notice that Pat and Michael are masked. That's why. And then I want to say maybe the summer of 2021, the West Bank Cafe on 42nd and 9th. Some of you may know it. It's a great restaurant. They've been there, I think, 40 years. They're like such a New York institution and a big place for like the New York theater community in particular. They started having live music on Friday and Saturdays. And the way they were able to do that was that if you haven't been there, the front of that restaurant has big windows in front that open up completely to the sidewalk. So they put seating and tables outside. People would dine on the sidewalk, and we would play inside in this empty restaurant. And again, it actually felt so magical, because there were so few live gigs happening at that time. And also it was just wild and wonderful to do a gig on 42nd Street in New York City, because remember how drag racing was a big thing during COVID? That definitely happened on 42nd Street. And I swear to God, those people never failed to show up and rev their engines. It was either during a ballad or a bass solo. It never failed. But we really had a wonderful time. And we really, as a group, we'd love to bring in new tunes every week. You play some of the same songs again, always are cycling through the repertoire, of course, because there's always a new things to find in them, new ways to go about them. But we really love to always be bringing in new tunes, all three of us. And, we had more time on our hands. So we were really having fun, digging deep, suggesting songs that we'd always, wanted to learn and felt like we never had the time to get to. We had the time. There was also, I want to just give a mention to this man. Some of you may know his name, Roger Crane. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. He passed maybe 2 years ago now. But he was sort of known, he had a newsletter, an email newsletter, and he called himself the Song Scout. And he was one of these people who has this vast collection of sheet music and charts from various writers, and he would send out emails about like, have you ever heard this song? Or and I remember pre-COVID, I had them all saved in my email. And again, I always felt like I didn't have the time to get to them. And then in COVID, one of the silver linings, as terrible as the time that was, one of the silver linings was that I had a chance to go through all of his emails. And we, he was with us, so we were he was I could email him, and there were sometimes songs that I brought, I got to say to him, hey, I'm looking for this tune and I can't find a chart for it anywhere. Do you have it? And he almost always had it. And he was so eager. I think he loved that. And he loved to share music with people. Sorry, hi, George. Yes, it was exactly. I mean, for those of us who were lucky enough to survive the pandemic, it was, I think, a beautiful time to like go inside and work on music or projects that you wanted to get to. So I'm extremely grateful that I was safe. I had a roof over my head. My family was safe, and we all did okay. And I had this beautiful. I got back. Had a lot of time to get back to piano playing, which was wonderful. So through people like Roger and my bandmates, I really discovered a ton of new tunes, and a lot of tunes that you just don't get done anymore. This repertoire, the jazz and American songbook repertoire, is so vast. A lot of the household name writers, especially Cole Porter, Berlin. Hi, Nancy. Yay! Thank you guys for tuning in. You're the best. These household name writers, they wrote tons of tunes, literally 1,000 songs, 1,500 songs, right? Johnny Mercer, I think, wrote like the lyrics to 1,500 songs or something like that. So there's a lot of music to discover. And I think, I just love that there are some really great tunes that have sort of not, fallen out of being the well-known tunes that we all cover, and trying to promote them and bring them back. And that is what this album really is about. There we are, Beautiful Moons Ago. It's Beautiful Moons Ago is a Nat King Cole song. He co-wrote that with the guitar player in his early trio, Oscar Moore. And again, it's like one that you never hear often. There is a great recording of Carmen McRae doing it, and Tony Bennett sang it. And other than that, not that many people, until yours truly bringing it to you very soon. Hi, Destiny. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, you guys, you're making me so delighted. I'm so thrilled that you're here. So this album, it's 12 tracks. We recorded the album at the Rudy Van Gelder studio in New Jersey. I'd never been there before. Both Michael and Pat had recorded there, and they sort of nudged me to consider recording there, and I trust them so much. And Nancy, I don't see you. I'm sort of in this like a studio just by myself online. So I can't see you, but I can see that you're commenting. So you are with me. So we recorded it at the Van Gelder studio, which, there's such good energy in that studio for all the incredible, iconic albums that were recorded in there. And the studio itself has just a gorgeous, just the room itself has such a beautiful sound as is. And we recorded, the three of us, we were all together in the same room, no headphones. So a very traditional way of recording, what you can do, there's no drums on the record. So that's, of course, an easier thing to do when there aren't drums. I think, there are a lot of those classic albums with drums were recorded in that studio. So it certainly is possible. But it was very, very beautiful to record in that way, kind of like in a live setting, essentially, but in a studio. And we have tunes by Walter Donaldson. You Say You Cares on this record, which is a Julie Stein tune that you almost never hear anymore. It was from the show, not the movie, the show score of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. There's a number of female composers and lyricists on this record. Carolyn Lee. There's a Cy Coleman and Carolyn Lee tune. I love Carolyn Lee. I love her lyrics. I'm such a fan of hers. There's a song by Clara Edwards, who was a pianist and composer. Beautiful tune she wrote called "With the Wind and the Rain in Your Hair." Who else? What other? Doris Fisher, who's a member of this incredible, the Fishers, the father, and then there's Doris, and I think she had two brothers. They're all songwriters, which I think is so cool. I don't come from a family of musicians, so I always think it's amazing when people have siblings and relatives who all write and make music. But there's a beautiful ballad of hers on here. And there is one original tune on here. Michael Kanan, our pianist, wrote the melody. And I also, during COVID, wrote lyrics for it. And I'm really delighted with how it turned out. It's called Messin' Around. And I'm very proud of it. I'm really excited for people to hear that. So as I said, this is going to be available officially. The full album is available on May 3rd, Friday, May 3rd. Pre-release starts Monday, April 29th. You can pre-save the album and you do get like an instant download track. Honestly, I can't quite remember which track I chose. It'll be a surprise. I'm proud of all of them. So I know whichever track it is, you will enjoy it. If you're in New York City, join us at Birdland. That's Monday, May 6th, 7 p.m. when we're celebrating the release. And then we're going to be at Scullers in Boston on May 11th, also celebrating the release. Also, just so you know, we are doing a pre-release concert this Saturday, a couple of days now, April 6th. At the Deer Head Inn in Delaware Water Gap, Pennsylvania. So if you're in that New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, we are, Michael and Pat will be with me for that concert at the Deer Head Inn. That's 2 sets, 7 to 10 p.m. I will have albums on me. Oh, look at that. We're going to share some tracks. And also we recorded, the album has 12 tracks. We recorded 19 tracks in 2 days. We were well rehearsed. But I didn't want to put out a double CD. So only 12 tracks went on the album, but we're going to definitely share some of those other tunes that we did record and just these arrangements and beautiful obscure tunes that came out of our time working together before we recorded this. And also just for what it's worth, there are a couple of really classic standards on here as well. Stuff I think will appreciate hearing and be familiar with, some Ellington, Jerome Kern. So I think it's a nice balance. Thank you. You guys, for some reason, I can see your name in the comments and some of you are just listed as Facebook user. I'm going to go and look at this on Facebook when we're done. So I will see who wrote these lovely comments, but thank you for congratulating me, Facebook user. You're super kind. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have questions, send them my way. We've got roughly a little bit more than 10 minutes left. So if you've got questions about the recording process, about how we chose the tunes, or just about me, as I mentioned, I'm a vocalist and songwriter based here in New York City. This is my 5th album that I'm releasing, which is a little bit hard to believe. I released an album. I might as well shamelessly plug the other albums I have. While we're here, what advice would you give to young vocalists? Okay. And then I'll get back to plugging my other albums. What advice would I give? Well, I was actually thinking about that, Gail. I think that, first of all, oh, thank you, Nanny. So nice to see you, my friend. Thank you. Well, I would say, that saying, eyes on the prize. I have sort of amended it, and this is something I have to remind myself. It's eyes on your prize, because everybody's path is so different. And I think I was just talking to somebody about, they mentioned that they actually went off of social media for the sake of their own mental health. I get it. as a musician, we definitely, it's a job requirement. We have to be active on social media. And I think that it's a great thing in so many ways. Hi, we're here today. I'm connecting with you guys. But I also understand that in this day and age, and I think especially for young people, when you're starting out, it's hard. It's hard. It is a challenging business. It can also be incredibly rewarding. So I think it's easy to compare and despair. Um, but again, you have to remember that you have to get super specific about what you want and what is important to you. And what is important to you doesn't have to be like what maybe society or other people tell you should be important, or what somebody else in your same field thinks is important. It's really got to be about you, what makes sense for you, what feels right and genuine for you. And it takes different amounts of time for different people, and there is room for everybody. And the best thing you can do is to like celebrate other people's wins. Um, and I think like use that as inspiration. And know that like there'll be there'll be valleys, there'll be time. It's just if you want to have a long career, if you're going to play the long game and be in there for the long haul, there are going to be valleys. There are going to be times when maybe you feel like you're getting a lot of no's. And I was just talking to somebody who's in one of those valleys, and it's hard. It's really hard to be in that place. There are going to be peaks though too. I promise, if you keep going, if you can keep yourself going, if you have a support system in place, if you can cheerlead for other people, they will support you when you're in those periods. Keep going. And you'll have those peaks, and enjoy them while you have them. And also, you know, it ebbs and flows. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Nancy. It's true. It's like that's the thing. It's like the path looks different for everybody because everybody truly brings something unique to this. We can all sing the same repertoire, and everybody, if you're doing it in a way that's really authentic to you, you're gonna bring something to the music that nobody else can bring. And there are gonna be people out there who absolutely love that and really appreciate it. So that is my, I hope, not overly philosophical answer to your question, Gail. Also, hustle, 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 hustle. The hustle never ends. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's one of the beautiful things about this. It can be tiring at times, and that's okay. Pause when you need it, take care of yourself, but like you have to be willing to keep it going. So that is my advice. And also, I'll just say, in case any young people find their way to this video, like I am so happy. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and ask me questions. Yes, exactly. Absolutely. During the downtime. That's right. Work on your thing. Yeah. Yep. So I'm seeing, okay, it's 3:23. I'll just also say that you can, while in these weeks before the new album gets released, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Instagram, I'm on all the places you would expect to find me. And I believe I am the only Gabrielle Stravelli in all the multiverses. So I am fairly easy to find. And my name is at the bottom, so you can know how to spell that. And I put out an album in 2017 called Dream Ago, which is mostly original material and just a few covers. And then in 2019, actually, you guys, tomorrow makes 5 years since I released this album in 2019, which was a sort of jazz and blues exploration of the music of Willie Nelson. I have very eclectic musical tastes. Thank you, Gail. Yes, so Dream Ago is the original material, and then I have an album called Pick Up My Pieces. Gabrielle Stravelli sings Willie Nelson. I'm really proud of that. That has it's got jazz quartet, 5-horn section, and strings on 2 tracks. And you don't have to be a Willie Nelson fan to listen to that album. I'm really, really proud of it. I love it. I'm actually going to share. We do like Pat O'Leary, my bassist, did all the arrangements for that record. I love them. And we did a bebop take on the song Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys, which I love. And I'm going to share some of the video from our release concert of that particular tune tomorrow on social media if you want to check it out. But that stuff is all on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. So you can listen to that music while you eagerly await the release of my new album. So yeah, I have a lot of different sounds in my recorded music, and I know that the next album I put out will also probably be completely different. So we've always got something new for you. So that's I just can't believe it's been 5 years since I put out the Willie album as of tomorrow. So but I will be teasing out the music for the new album in the next month. I've posted a couple of these, but I have more. I'm so happy I did this. I have a friend named Kim Bunce, who's a beautiful videographer. And she came to the Van Gelder studio with us for the first recording day and filmed us. So I have some really beautiful video showing that live recording process. A couple of them, maybe one or two, there's little snippets on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm going to be releasing more of those as we get closer to the release date. So you can follow me. I'm Instagram at Gabrielle Stravelli, Facebook and YouTube, Gabrielle Stravelli Music. Yeah, if you just type my name in, I'm the only person you will find. So that is the story. What else can I tell you? I'm originally from Staten Island, New York. The strangest borough to be from of all of them. And then we moved to New Jersey, which is not an atypical thing for Italian people to do. It's either Brooklyn to Jersey or Staten Island to Jersey. Any other questions? We've got 3 minutes. We're counting down. Send them my way. Beautiful moons ago. I'm terrible at showing this. Yes, available on all streaming platforms. Yay, Brooklyn. All streaming platforms, Friday, May 3rd. You can get the pre-release as of Monday, April 29th. And then you can hear it live Monday, May 6th at Birdland. And then Saturday, May 11th at Scullers in Boston. So yeah, and this Saturday at the Deerhead Inn. So I'm really proud of the album. Really happy with how it turned out and excited to share this music with you all. So thank you, Anjari. Thank you for having me. This was really wonderful. I haven't used my ring light in forever. You guys got me back in the groove. This was so fun. I haven't done anything like this in so long. And I forgot how fun it is to have people in the comments section saying hello and sending good vibes my way. So thank you all for that. Thank you, Gail, for organizing this. And thank you, Scott Thompson, for connecting me with Gail for today. Scott Thompson is handling the PR for this record. If anybody has any press inquiries, he's your man. Scott Thompson Publicity will take care of you. Yeah, and that's everything. So I have, if you're in New York on the regular, just for what it's worth, I have a regular gig every Saturday on the East Side at a great restaurant called Doc's Oyster Bar. It's 3rd Ave and like 39th, 40th, 633 3rd Ave. Aw, I love you too. And I'm there every Saturday, unless I'm at somewhere like the Deerhead, 6 to 9 p.m. And it's a really nice place. So you can find me in New York there quite regularly. So yeah, come say hello. All right, it's 3:29. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This has really been a pleasure. And again, thank you, Gail, for giving me a platform to share about the new record. I really hope you guys will check it out. And if you're able to, join us in person at one of these live gigs. So we hope to see you soon. We